Hello, Virgo. You disrupted their expectations. You did something they didn't see coming, made choice they didn't anticipate, took action they weren't expecting, changed in ways they didn't predict. SET boundary. They thought you'd never enforce. Uh, chose yourself when they expected you to choose them, moved forward when they assumed you'd wait, succeeded when they doubted, left when they thought you'd stay, stopped tolerating what you always tolerated before. And their shock that, wait, what? Reaction, that disbelief, that inability to process what happened reveals they had script for you, had expectations about who you are and what you do, had assumptions about your limits, had beliefs about your capacity, had you positioned in their mind as specific type of person who behaves in specific ways. And you broke script, violated expectations, exceeded limits they imposed, demonstrated capacity they denied, behaved in ways that don't fit their narrative about you. That's disorienting for them, creates cognitive dissonance, creates needing to reconcile who they thought you were with evidence of who you actually are, creates questioning their perception, creates realizing they underestimated you, creates recognizing you're not who they decided you were. And mad, that anger, that fury, that reactive rage reveals their shock, includes threat, reveals your action affected them, affected their position, affected their comfort, affected their plans, affected their control, affected something they valued. Your choice created consequence for them they don't like. Here's what you might have done actions, creating shock and anger. You set boundary they thought you'd never enforce, said no when you always said yes, refused when you always complied, declined when you always accommodated, protected yourself when you always sacrificed, chose your peace when you always prioritized their comfort. And that boundary shocked them because pattern said you wouldn't, history said you'd continue, their experience said you always gave in eventually. Your setting boundary violates their understanding of dynamic. They're mad because boundary affects them, creates inconvenience, creates them not getting what they want, creates having to respect your limits, creates inability to take from you, creates change in dynamic that served them. Boundary anger reveals they benefited from your lack of boundaries. Your protecting yourself threatens their access. You left situation they thought you'd endure, quit job, ended relationship, moved away, withdrew from friendship, stopped participating in family dynamic, excited situation that was damaging you, but they assumed you'd stay in. Leaving shocked them because you seemed so committed, so stuck, so tolerant, so willing to endure. They thought investment or loyalty or fear would keep you trapped. Your leaving proves they were wrong. They're mad because your leaving affects them, creates void, creates them losing resource, creates having to replace you, creates losing control, creates you choosing yourself over them, creates their narrative about your weakness being revealed as false. Leaving anger reveals they needed you there, depended on your staying, benefited from situation even while it harmed you. Your choosing yourself threatens their position. You succeeded when they doubted. achieved what they said you couldn't, built what they claimed was impossible, accomplished what they predicted you'd fail at, proved them wrong through actual results, demonstrated capability they denied, shocks them because they believed you'd fail, maybe even needed you to fail to prove their judgment right. Your success creates cognitive dissonance, creates having to admit they were wrong, creates evidence their doubt was unjustified. They're mad because your success threatens them, makes them look bad for doubting, makes their own lack more visible, creates comparison they don't want, creates you having what they want, creates jealousy, creates recognition you exceeded their limitations while they stayed stuck. Success anger is envy disguised as something else, is resentment, is wanting what you have while believing they deserve it more, is inability to celebrate because your winning feels like they're losing. You chose someone or something else, picked different person, selected different option, pursued different path, prioritized different relationship, made choice that excluded them, moved on to something better while they expected you to stay available. Choosing something elsey shocked them because they assumed they were your best option, assumed you'd always choose them, assumed alternatives weren't as good, assumed you needed them more than they needed you. They're mad because you're choosing elsewhere, proves assumptions false, proves you don't need them, proves alternatives exist, proves they're not irreplaceable, proves they lost you to something better. Choice anger is ego injury, is being unchosen, is discovering they are not as essential as believed, is facing reality that you moved forward without them. You spoke truth they wanted hidden, exposed lie, revealed reality, said what everyone knew but nobody mentioned, called out behavior, named pattern, refused to pretend. Stopped protecting their image, chose honesty over keeping peace. Truth-telling shocked them because silence was agreement, pattern was you keeping quiet, expectation was you protecting their reputation. Your speaking breaks that pattern, violates unspoken rule about hiding dysfunction. They're mad because truth threatens them, exposes them, makes hiding impossible, creates accountability, creates others seeing what was hidden, creates consequences for behavior that silence protected. Truth anger is defensive, is attempting to punish truth teller, to discourage further truth, is shooting messenger, is making your honesty the problem to avoid addressing their behavior. This reflection invites you to consider, what specifically did you do that created shock and anger? What boundary, what leaving, what success, what choice, what truth? If something immediately came to mind, that's probably it. That's what disrupted script. That's what created reaction. Trust that recognition. Knowing what you did helps you assess whether their anger is valid feedback or defensive reaction to healthy change. This reflection invites you to consider who is shocked and mad, and does their reaction reveal more about them or about legitimacy of your action? If their anger is because you protected yourself, reveals them. If anger is because you left toxic situation, reveals them. If anger is because you succeeded, reveals them. If anger is because you spoke, truth reveals them. Their reaction is data about who they are. not verdict on whether your action was right. What their shock and anger reveals about them reveals they benefited from old dynamic, from your lack of boundaries, from your staying, from your silence, from your availability, from your accommodating, from your tolerating, from your accepting less, from status quo that served them even if it harmed you. Your change threatens their benefit. Their anger is protective, is attempting to restore dynamic that worked for them. Reveals they saw you as specific, role, helper, fixer, available one, tolerant one, person who stays, person who accepts, person who serves, person who sacrifices, role that worked for them, role they depended on you playing. Your breaking role creates crisis for them, creates needing to see you differently, creates inability to continue relating in old way, reveals they underestimated you, didn't believe you'd actually follow through, didn't think you were capable, didn't believe you were strong enough, didn't think you'd choose yourself, didn't expect you to succeed, didn't anticipate you'd leave, didn't predict you'd speak. Underestimation is dismissal, is not seeing you fully, is reducing you to smaller version. Your action proves underestimation wrong. Their shock is recognition of error, reveals they're threatened by your growth, by your boundaries, by your success, by your choices, by your truth. Your evolution challenges them, creates comparison, creates questioning their choices, creates evidence that change is possible, which threatens their excuses for not changing. Your growth holds mirror, shows what's possible. Their anger is deflection, is making your change the problem to avoid facing their stagnation. What you should do with their shock and anger? Don't apologize for healthy choices. Don't say sorry for boundaries. Don't apologize for leaving. Don't regret succeeding. Don't feel guilty for choosing yourself. Don't backtrack on truth. Don't retreat from growth because someone is uncomfortable. Apologizing for healthy change teaches you that growth is bad, that protecting yourself is wrong, that their comfort matters more than your well-being. You don't owe an apology for evolving, for protecting yourself, for choosing better, for speaking honestly. Their discomfort with your growth is their issue, not your transgression. Don't absorb their anger as evidence you were wrong. Their being mad doesn't prove you made mistake. Their discomfort doesn't equal you doing harm. Their shock doesn't mean you violated boundary. Their anger is their response, not verdict on your action. Assess your action independently. Did you set healthy boundary? Good. Did you leave toxic situation? Good. Did you succeed? Good. Did you choose yourself? Good. Did you speak truth? Good. The reaction doesn't change rightness of action. Maintain your boundary or choice or position. Don't cave because they're angry. Don't reverse because they're shocked. Don't return because they're uncomfortable. Don't shrink because they're threatened. Hold your ground. Maintaining creates establishing, creates teaching them you're serious, creates demonstrating boundary is real, creates proving you've changed, not just temporarily acted out. If they escalate, if anger becomes abuse, if shock becomes manipulation, if reaction becomes threatening, create more distance, protect yourself more thoroughly, seek support. Document if necessary. Don't engage with toxicity even when provoked. Escalation reveals them, reveals inability to handle healthy boundaries, reveals need to control, reveals willingness to harm to restore dynamic. Distance is appropriate response. And allow them to have their feelings without managing those feelings. They're allowed to be shocked, allowed to be angry, but their feelings are theirs to manage. You don't have to fix, don't have to soothe, don't have to explain until they accept, don't have to justify until they approve. Their process is theirs. Your boundary is yours. Those can coexist. You can maintain boundary while they process response. Their feelings don't obligate your changing course. What happens next? Possible trajectories. They might adjust, might eventually accept new dynamic, might recognize they need to respect boundaries, might adapt to you having changed, might come to appreciate your growth even if initially resisted, might rebuild relationship on healthier foundation. Adjustment is possible, not guaranteed, but possible. Some people need time to process before accepting new reality. They might escalate before adjusting, might get worse before better, might increase pressure, might attempt manipulation, might try guilt, might recruit others, might create drama, testing whether you'll hold or retreat. Escalation before adjustment is common pattern. Is their last attempt to restore old dynamic before accepting new one. Holding through escalation creates eventual acceptance. They might END relationship, might decide they can't relate to new you, might withdraw, might choose distance, might make your boundary or choice or success unforgivable, might exit rather than adapt. Ending is painful but reveals incompatibility, reveals they only could relate to old you, reveals relationship required your diminishment, reveals they're choosing to leave rather than respect growth. That ending, though painful, creates space for relationships that can handle your wholeness. They might remain angry but distant, might hold grudge, might maintain bitterness, might stay mad but from distance, might never accept but also not directly engage. Inly distance with resentment is uncomfortable but manageable, is them processing in their own way, is you continuing your path while they continue theirs, parallel existence without toxic interaction. The power is yours. It always has been. They are shocked and mad because of something you did, and what you did was set boundary, leave situation, succeed, choose something else, or speak truth. And their reaction reveals they benefited from old dynamic, saw you in limiting role, underestimated you, and are threatened by growth. Your job is not apologizing for healthy choice, not absorbing anger as evidence of wrong, maintaining boundary or position, creating distance if escalate, allowing their feelings without managing, and recognizing possible trajectories include adjustment, escalation, then adjustment, ending, or distant resentment. Take what resonates, softly release the rest, trust yourself. And listen, their shock and anger aren't evidence you did something wrong, are evidence you did something unexpected, something that disrupted their script, something that changed dynamic. Change creates discomfort. Healthy change often creates resistance, especially from people who benefited from unhealthy pattern. Their discomfort is not your responsibility to fix. Their shock is not yours to manage. Their anger is not yours to absorb. You set boundary, you left, you succeeded, you chose yourself, you spoke truth. Those actions serve you, protect you, honor you, hold them, maintain them, trust them. Whether they adjust or don't, whether they accept or leave, whether they eventually understand or stay bitter, you did what you needed to do. And that choosing yourself, that protecting yourself, that honoring yourself is exactly right, regardless of their reaction. Stay strong, hold your ground, trust your choice. You did well.